Yeah, okay, so today I would like to talk about the NFT marketplaces, which allow especially emerging artists, because usually like the prominent artists, like they're being handpicked by the galleries, and then it depends on like who you know in the circle, like. But then this year has been so exciting because many people now can express their creativity like with platforms like Rarible Rarible or SuperRare, and they can actually respond to each other's works because like they can build things on top of already existing artworks or contents through the NFT. So, but then we won't talk about the artwork. We will talk about the NFT marketplaces where they can put these things on offer, and they can also buy, or maybe they can bid or auction their items there. So my first question is, yeah, we know that non-fungible items, meaning items which have different value appraisals, correct? When like houses, furniture, paintings, it's not like gold or items which have set fixed value. But when a term says non-fungible token, what does that mean? And what's the difference between cryptocurrencies and tokens when it comes to the P2P app?
Okay, sure. This is an important question because it's a key in understanding what an NFT is and how it's used. And this also is the base to understand then all the other takes in how exchanges work, how marketplace work, etc., etc. So the key difference between cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or like Ethereum and NFTs is that the fungibility. What does fungibility means is that it doesn't matter if I have one Bitcoin or another Bitcoin, I still have one Bitcoin, right? So if I have 3 Bitcoin and I send one each to my friend and they send me their own Bitcoin, at the end we all have the same amount of Bitcoin, and that's the fungibility. If we do this with NFTs, because each NFT is a single item, a unique item. In the moment that I transfer away my NFT, I don't have it anymore. So it's not a matter of calculating how many NFT I have, it doesn't matter what. Each NFT may represent something different with a different value, with different characteristics, etc., etc. So the non-fungibility means that the fact that each NFT is unique and singular makes the trade of it a little different from cryptocurrency, but not so much. Meaning that there are different ways for which exchanges and marketplaces, as we call them, deal with NFT, which is interesting because an NFT is owned and managed by the person that has the ability to sign for it. But all is also managed by a smart contract. So a smart contract is a piece of code, is a small application that is installed in the blockchain that manages the NFT and has a set of instructions and functionalities for which the NFT also has a unique characteristic. For example, the fact that the initial author always take a cut when it gets resold for a certain amount and transfer between people. The specific of this contract, of this application called smart contract, allow marketplace to deal with the NFTs in a way or in another. So it doesn't mean that each NFT is 100% compatible with all the marketplaces that are out there. So there are some that need to be issued by the smart contract of a specific marketplace, others that the marketplace doesn't touch them but just create the connection between people and provide a nice cross service in the moment of the purchase, other they only deal with internal ones. So that's a very interesting aspect and topic to explore.
Yeah, and then I read articles which are really confusing because they say when you buy an NFT to someone's work, doesn't mean that you own the piece, but then like you get an access to the digital certificate to that work. So what does that mean actually? Because that's very confusing. You know, what's the difference between, let's say, buying an NFT to buying a record in the record store, for instance? Like,
Absolutely, that's all determined by the legal framework that is around the purchase of the NFT itself. An NFT is as a piece of paper. Take a white piece of paper and you can write on top whatever you want, and you can sell it to somebody else. Once you have the NFT, you have nothing else that the control over a piece of digital information that is in a blockchain. No more, no less. So this has a value that comes by who created it. So who is the digital signature of the creator? What information the creator put inside? Which is the legal framework that says, because if a piece of paper has like a government stamp and it declares in Britain that this piece of paper means that I'm transferring you the ownership of my toilet seat, I don't know, then you own the toilet seat because you can claim it anytime you want because the paper declared that. If I take the piece of paper and I draw a smiley face on it and you like it, you want to pay for it, you get the smiley faces. I'm going to make another 100 piece of paper with the smiley faces. Unless I say, this is the only smiley faces I'm making in a piece of paper, and then you're going to have the only one because you sign a contract where you say that you don't. But there is no physical connection between the NFT and whatever physical object is outside, and there can't be even, you cannot even say I embed in the NFT the cryptographic key that allow me to open the piece of art or whatever, because once it's an NFT, everybody can read the content of it. So it is really an interesting aspect of you see memes being sold for millions of dollars and don't make sense. And I think a lot of people also is doing it out of a fever of owning NFTs without understanding what they're doing. There have been cases around the world where people were so sure that buying the NFT means that they bought the actual that was the title of ownership of the actual physical item, is the painting or whatever. So I buy it rather than buy with a written contract at the notary. I buy it with an NFT, but then the painting is mine. And people says, no, you own the NFT of the painting, but the painting still belong to the person that has it. And it is very ambiguous and it's not that some people is cheating, it's simply open to the discussion that is made and what is the legal framework that is decided to be around the NFT. So going back to the basics, the NFT is just a piece of digital information that has some software rules and somebody own it and can be transfer ownership of this thing. No more than a piece of paper, with a guarantee there is that one piece of paper uniquely.
Okay, so this is also how, like in Germany, somebody was selling a house as an NFT. So basically the NFT contains the certificates or like the documents of ownership to that house, right? So like the buyer can complete the transaction automatically. So that's the idea, right? Like what an NFT is like.
This is one idea. NFT can be used in many ways. For example, I can have NFTs that are the parameter of a piece of software. So when you launch the application, your computer, you connect to the blockchain, go to search for the correct NFT and see which parameter it should run. I mean, and that's not ownership of anything. Let's say the software house can daily deploy different parameters or license IDs or whatever, and use NFTs because they don't want to be the one controlling the server. They want to have it in a blockchain. So the software house daily update the content of the NFT or weekly or monthly, and when you launch your software, you go read that and you have the keys in order to get your software, your computer to work. And that's it as a use of an NFT. It doesn't matter. It doesn't connect to any RPs or anything else. I do believe that the best use case is for digital artwork, because digital artwork live in the soft part of the art, right? Meaning that they are not a sculpture or a painting that physically you can lock in your house. Digital artwork are fruable by everybody. So anybody that wants to see a digital piece, if he has the JPEG file, if he has the move animation of it, can enjoy it. But who is the owner? So that's the big point. So you can lock the ownership of a piece of art everybody can enjoy. Like if you have given your painting to the gallery and everybody can enter the gallery and enjoy the painting, but it does belong to you and you can sell it to some other person. So he has more an act of showing off, right? See this beautiful piece of art, that's mine. I am the one that own it. Everybody love it and I am the owner. You want it, I give it to you. But then it's not that without NFT you cannot see it. That's the point that many people need to understand. It's not that I take the painting, I put in my living room and only myself and my guests can enjoy the painting. No, that's not the case. It's going to be something that everybody can enjoy, but you are the official owner of it. And you have a title that you can pass to somebody else to make it the official owner of it. And this is one case for NFTs, but you can use NFT as a certificate of origin, certificate of quality for items. For example, I was talking with a friend that has a ceramic shop to embed inside each piece of ceramic a small NFC, for which there is a unique ID representing a unique NFT in the blockchain. When you know that this particular plate belongs to you, if somebody steals it from your house, you can always see that it's your plate. And if you sell it to somebody, you change the ownership there, but you know when it's been made, what date. You can connect to pictures of people making your plate, etc., etc. This can be used in the supply chain to put together different parts until you get the final product. And there are millions of different uses beside the marketplace of art.
And I also heard from the talk show live last month with the classical pianist and composer Ananda Sukarlan, that he said the NFT can be used to access musical scores, or maybe to take a sample of a music. So that, for instance, if you're creating rap music with samples of classical music in it, or country music or metal, you can just, it makes it easier for you to take some sample or to get access to the score and then embed the work on your own original piece. But also in the world of fashion, I saw with Shawn Mendes, the vest, I think it's a traditional Mexican kind of design. But then you can, through an NFT, you can get the prototype of that design and then make it yours, changing the colors or changing the patterns. Yeah.
It's a supply chain, right? The supply chain for music, supply chain for clothing, and it's true. If each source piece is represented by an NFT, you can just compose the final product and link all the different NFTs, so you can see each part, who has been made. Is it a piece of music that is used in other composition? Is it a button for a T-shirt? So you can see that there's source from there. You can contact the person. The shirt that you have as an NFT with a list of all the NFTs of the material or the parts. And you can go to crazy extremes like making a car with all the parts that are NFTs if you want. But or Merkle root for NFT. Merkle root is a way to save space when you link it to a particular item or NFT. That's exactly the point. It's so open and variegated what can be done with NFT that there is no limitation on it, and there are no parameter preset. It's not automatically owning an NFT means anything. It doesn't mean anything. It depends which agreement was signed on the side or inside the NFT itself. We can say me, myself, a name, blah, 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 with a signature that is KYC, I don't know. Then, you have a legal document. It's just stored in a different place.
Yeah. And maybe to talk about something else now, because like you mentioned, the hype and with how many items are being sold at a very expensive price. So what do you think of this hype? Like once it's over, how will it affect the market? And
it's interesting that is happening because, again, when a lot of money moves, people look in that direction, right? If I always say, if all this technology was being created for some, like hairdressers, I don't know, probably very little people in the world will know it. So as there are NFTs sold for millions of dollars, people look at it and is interested in it. A lot of people don't understand and still do buy and sell stuff. Always people should pay a lot of attention what they do when they put money into sort of things. It's like putting them in the den of lions, and what is going to happen. But the idea is that people start using it. It's more than the money that moves. Is the fact that people start culturally accepting that the digital singularity of a piece of content is something that can move from hand to hand digitally, and this is the magic thing, right? You have an MP3 that is owned by somebody. You have a movie that is owned by somebody, or whatever else, as you were saying, materials, the song, music. We have the digital twin, of the physical things, or we have a unique piece of data that is in the blockchain that can be traded and exchanged, which is very important.
Yeah, and then what are the advantages of offering your in digital artworks? It's quite obvious because I think like the NFT is a really convenient platform for such content or also such assets. But then like in general, what's the advantage of offering your items or assets or properties as NFTs, compared to the conventional market? Yeah.
Absolutely. This is an important question because that's really on the key of why people would use such technology. The fact that you have a digital unique piece of something makes it impossible to tamper with. So let's say serigraphies, which is a very classic case of 1 out of 100. Okay, let's say some artists make a serigraphy and print 100 of them, and then start numbering 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100, sign them, and you own the 73rd out of 100. Who tells you that there is nobody else in the world owning another 73rd? 100. Or say you want to have a dinner with all the owners from 1 to 100 of the serigraphy. How can you contact them, right? How can you know that you are exactly 1 out of 100 and there are no other pieces around? There is no way to know it in the classic world. But with NFT, if the NFT is 1 out of 100 series and you own the 73, you are guaranteed that of that series, you have the only 173. There is no other way to duplicate it. Okay, you can create it in another blockchain, you can create another series, but that specific one in the blockchain is yours, and that's the value of it, I think.
Okay, so it's more on the side of protecting the authenticity, and ensuring that.
Let's say you have a T-shirt made with the material that is unique because it's from a particular place in the world, and the difference between a physical object like a T-shirt and a digital item like a piece of music or art or whatever is the fact that you need to bridge. So how you can make this T-shirt be connected with a specific NFT. So here there is the need of technology, like nanotechnology. They put like a radio frequency ID into the material rather than NFC for the cell phone to read from something else. But if it's digital, there is no discussion. If it is physical, there is the need to validate the bridge between the two parts. And there are systems to make it unique, meaning that it's not just a matter of having an ID in this material that you link and see the NFT says this ID is the material, because you can have 100 copies of the material with the same ID and you have no idea which one is original. You need to have the need of the material to do a digital signature to show there is this material. So there is a unique private key that belongs to this material, and this is done with a particular card that can be activated remotely with the radio waves, so don't need to have a battery or whatever. But that's something that I'm actually working on to give an active and not just passive response from whatever item it is. It is even books or other things that are physical, they can remain unique.
And then the OpenSea is currently considered the best NFT marketplace by several websites which I've visited. But I know it's also objective, but why? So what are the best practice examples set by the OpenSea platform?
Well, right there first. That's why it's being adopted. I think we are at the time of Lycos as a search engine before Google came out, so there is space for much more. But they offer the possibility to have compatible NFT to be deposited there for trade. Pay attention, you need to transfer it to them, and they will escort the transfer to somebody else. There is no such thing like you holding it until you sell it. So you need to trust them. You need to pass the ownership to them, and they're gonna pass the ownership to the final owner for some NFT that are actually managed by their own smart contract, can behave a little bit differently, but ultimately, if the owner is the one signing to transfer, unless there is a risk of somebody trying to purchase and then you not selling to them, there is the need of an escrow. So they can escrow the money incoming it in order to make the purchase, and then after you sell, so you transfer the ownership to the person purchasing, they send you the money, or to automate the transfer, so to buy now, let's say. They need to hold and own the NFT.
Okay. And what is minting, like an NFT project?
Okay, that's another important mosquito is trying to bite me. It is another important aspect, because an NFT is not something that exists without a smart contract behind it. So a single smart contract, single piece of code can be used to create many NFT that follow the specific characteristics. So let's say I create an NFT to identify, to specify engines. So there will be one field that says is electric, is diesel, is gasoline. Then there is another that says how many liters. Then there is another that says main function, whatever, And this is the smart contract that defines the specific of the NFTs. Then anytime I create a new NFT with a specific engine is the time that I'm gonna enter the data like this is a diesel engine, 2 liters for cars. Okay, and this is the unique code to identify it. And then I I minted one NFT. So obviously there are no universals NFT that accept everything. There is a standard that is imposed. For example, if you want the NFT to link with a URL to a specific web page, there is a specific way to say this is the URL of the NFT, which all the NFT have the same. If you have, there are an image to show like an icon related to your NFT, there is a way to specify the URL for the image, and this is a standard for all the NFTs. So if I do the engine one, I'm going to use those standards so that if I list my engine in OpenSea automatically go get the icon from whatever I say, and then go get, for example, the link for more information. And then there are different states. So there are NFT that can change state based on other things. So, for example, for items for video games, is this word strength level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have a validator. So there are very precise way to say which are the parameters for the NFT, and this is gonna visualize measurement circle with like a different way to show graphically in different marketplace. So those are some standards that the people can choose to have in the NFT when they mint them, based on the smart contract. So smart contract need to have this parameter there. So all the NFT generated by that smart contract are going to have those data set. So it's really different NFT by NFT based on which is the smart contract that is used to mint them.
Okay. And yeah, when someone wants to buy or sell items as NFT in those marketplaces, what the process looks like? Yeah, of course they have the tools, and then you can just fill out some form there. But what's the process like?
First of all, one need to have the possibility to do a cryptographic signature, right? So means most of those marketplaces require people to have Metamask installed. Metamask is a utility to send your digital signature to the browser, and nothing. And then with that, you identify yourself. So when you come back, it's always you. So there is no username and password in most of these places, but you are identified by your Ethereum address or Polygon address, which is the same. And once you are identified with the address, you can, put offer to purchase something, or at the same time list, paying your own fee to list your own items. You can mint a new one using the smart contract, or if you have a compatible NFT, you can simply list it.
Okay. And then what does the popularity of NFTs have to say about the user-friendliness of the P2P network app?
Oh, that this OpenSea is not so complicated to use. That's already one good thing compared to the exchanges for cryptocurrencies that require the user to understand finance a little bit, to understand the demand offer. This trading of NFT is like playing with the Pokemon cards. It's not really complicated, So I think most people can feel comfortable when doing these things with NFT much more than with cryptocurrency.
And the current limitations of the NFT marketplaces?
That the fact that NFTs smart contract can be deployed in multiple blockchain, and in case of the serigraphy, you don't know if you are the owner of the 73 in Polygon, the owner of the 73 in the other one, so there is no one unique market, right? So existing many clones of Ethereum blockchain, there can be many clones of the same smart contract and same NFTs. So it's very important to understand in which blockchain you are, what you're trading, and make sure that nobody deploy the same smart contract in another blockchain, tricking people. So there is still a minimum need of technical understanding. But the fact that people go to a marketplace like OpenSea, I think helps, because that's what remove this confusion sometimes if they display properly to the user where they are trading.
Because you say that matters of compensation and royalty payment to the artists or the creators will depend on how the contract is being designed. So can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, correct. One interesting aspect of trading art with NFT is the fact that if the smart contract includes the payment for the trade of the art, so include the escrow, so you don't need the marketplace, but or is a smart contract of a marketplace. So I'm selling you the NFT. In order for changing the ownership, the smart contract NFT require payment, and there is a specific says which is the percentage of this money that goes to the author. So every time the same NFT is sold between parties, the initial author still earn money, which is nice, because if you think when a painter makes a painting, sell it for one, and when the person that purchases it sell it for two, the painter see nothing of that. While it is beautiful that the painter keep getting, more his painting, he becomes successful, more money is still making when you get traded around or evaluated. So this goes for music and for everything else. And these are the simple things that are put in the smart contract. You can even need the approval of the painter. Let's say I paint something for you and I lock the NFT, so you cannot trade it with anybody else. It's attached to your account, period. So you can go to any marketplace and sell it to anybody, because or I can say you cannot sell it for less than $10,000, but so it is all depending how the smart contract is written, what limitation and what condition are put in it. That's how it's gonna behave.
Okay, and we don't have middlemen, of course, in the NFT marketplace, but when you pay for their services, like usually what are the fees for?
No, let's pay attention that this marketplace, they make money. And it's not that there is no middleman. They are the middleman. There will be no middleman if the transfer is direct between two parties without the marketplace, right? So you have my NFT, I set you as a purchaser, you pay, and automatically goes to you directly, because the smart contract has this functionality. In the moment that the smart contract doesn't have this functionality, and the marketplace act as an escrow, a set payment. The beautiful thing that if it's a direct things between two party, you need to use a token or a cryptocurrency to make the payment. While I saw that some of these marketplaces accept even payment with a credit card rather than PayPal or US dollars direct. So this is powerful in that term. So also bridge between the cryptocurrency world and the fiat world.
Okay. And what new innovations and breakthroughs we can expect to see from the NFT marketplace in the future?
I think that as we consolidated the legal rulebook around them. So when a government said, hey, the ownership certificate of your car is in this blockchain with this NFT, then your car ownership is going to be there, and then that's how you can sell your car to somebody else. So the legality of it and the meaning of owning an NFT are well defined by the government, right? So that's a powerful aspect, right?
Yeah. Okay, I think that's all that I want to ask, and it's quite dense actually, the topic. So I'll study it carefully one more time to write an article from it. So, is there anything you want to say, like in closing?
That just the NFT is not precise meaning of something, right? There is a concept that can be implemented in so many different ways to do many different things, and can be used for many different purposes. Trading art is just one of it, but there are many other functionalities that can be covered, and use cases that can be covered by NFTs.
Okay, yeah, so you have to make sure that the type of NFT that you would like to use is suitable for what you're going to sell.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Roberto, and see you again next week.
All right. Thank you, Sebastian. Bye.